Greetings guys and gals, this is Top Cat Jimmy and thank you for tuning into my channel. And this video is about the recording gear that I have used and do use to record my songs. Alright, number one, starting with, in 2010, I started to use a cassette tape player to record with. Yeah, don't mind saying. It's the only thing I knew, and I think they're great to record on still to this day. And I've got the tapes from early on to prove it. Now, I like these little mics they give you. And I'm not even sure that I had a mic to go with it at the time. I might have just used a little built-in mic that they had on the cassette player to begin with. Now, that is an excellent way to record. I know, and I must admit to myself that as I have heard from the pros on YouTube, the pro audio engineers and musicians, that it's not so much about your gear as it is about your ability to play, and that you do a good quality performance. Okay, and then if you put that good quality performance on a cassette player, it will stand out. Now, these cassettes that I have are just practice sessions and rehearsals and whatnot, okay, and not very good enough to at all make public. Yet, when I moved on, I only moved on because I found out about, and because I wanted to find out what more can I use to record with, I found out about one of these because I went to my local pawn shop and they had this sitting there, the Memorex home recording system. Okay, let me turn this around and give you the view. All right, and I guess I'll save probably what you might like best for last. And there you go. All right, so that system here, this system here cost me roughly $75 or so. Okay. Now, check this out, and I like it, man. I'm telling you, it has a CD player, okay? Just pop that right open. And it came with this microphone. Yes, this is the Memorex home recording system. It has 4 inputs, and it says number 1, microphone, number 2, microphone, number 3, guitar, and number 4, keyboard. Or you could put any one of your instruments or vocal lines in any one of these inputs. It has dedicated volume control for each one of those. And what you do to record is you use a flash drive or an SD card. Now, I like this. This is all the settings here and how you run the system. Yes, it is also a karaoke machine that if you put a karaoke disc in here, it will read out on the monitor what the words are. However, it does say home recording system, and that's what I bought it for. Okay, not karaoke, but for home recording. And got nothing against karaoke. As a matter of fact, I used to do it in the past. A long time ago, way back when, and enjoyed it. And then, I'll show you, I took those recordings that I did on there, and burnt them out to a CD. So this is an original, in 2010, of 7 songs that I recorded using this Memorex machine. Okay, So then I found out about the Tascam. And it's right over there, and let me bring you to it. And there, my friends, is the Tascam DP24. And I know the glare is a little annoying. I wish I had professional lighting here. Okay. Please ignore the glare. Into the DAW. And there is the DAW that I'm using, which is Mixcraft 7 Acoustica. I like it. Alrighty, I do have Pro Tools, and I'm actually attempting to learn how to use that, so I'm not using it to record, mix, or master with. In the past, I've used Magic's Music Maker 2016. Great entry-level beginner's DAW. It's not kindergarten, it's not childish, it's good entry-level for you as an adult, okay? And a young adult, or I'm sure kids could probably even operate it better than some adults. However, it's user-friendly, and that is about the Magic's Music Maker 2016, user-friendly. And the Acoustica Mixcraft 7, also user-friendly. That is what I look for in a DAW, user-friendly. Okay, so what else have we got? Okay, now from the Tascam, okay, I found out about the Boss RC300 looper. Didn't buy it for the looper, I bought it for the recording ability. It is able to be recorded into. Just run it out to your monitors. You can hear yourself playing, but it holds up to 3 hours of recording. Okay? And I will go over that and show you about that. Yes, people, the Boss RC300. Now, I'm sorry about the glare. Once again, this is not professional lighting in here, although I sure wish it was for the sake of camera and video. Okay, so there we are, and we got some drums going on. We're going to stop that. All right, really, this is a really neat system. So, there we go. Very good. So, anyway, that is the drum track, one of them. I think there's like 16 drum tracks plus in this Boss RC300. There are different genres. All right. What next? Now, the other thing is, because of the Tascam DP24 that I purchased in 2013. Okay, so let's recap. The cassette player and the Memorex machine in 2010. Used the Memorex machine more than the cassette player after I got the machine up until 2013 and even beyond, and got the Tascam DP24, as I was saying, in 2013. Then, I believe in that very same year, I bought the Boss RC300. Now, in 2000 and, Jesus, I believe it was 2013, I found out about the Roland RC33 30-watt amplifier. Made for, more specifically, an acoustic electric guitar or acoustic guitar. You can plug a microphone in there or direct input from a guitar. So you can have your vocals or just mic up your guitar there. Okay, so interestingly enough, you can bring this with you and perform out in public for 30 minutes with the battery pack that it has. If you got another bunch of batteries, you can replace that real quick, and especially if they're rechargeable, and put in another 30 minutes worth of entertainment and performance. Okay, it also has a looper function on it. Sounds great with an acoustic guitar, and that's why I bought it. I did research on amps specifically for acoustic guitars, because in my opinion, not one size fits all when it comes to amps with guitars. This electric guitar may go good with this amp, but not with this amp. This acoustic guitar probably doesn't go good with any of those amps a lot of times, because in my finding that most amps are made for electric guitars. Then, once we realize that, we start looking for amps that are made for acoustic guitars. And Roland is the parent company of Boss. And Roland makes very great acoustic amps. Now, as I was mentioning, here is the amp. I like it. This is rosewood colored cabinet. They do make black cabinet, but I like some color. And the other thing is that this is my second one. I purchased the first one and someone else inherited it, you might say. Alrighty? So what that comes with, well, actually it doesn't come with, but you have to purchase separately, and that you would want to purchase to operate this thing, is the Boss FS6 foot switch. Okay? So with that, with a TRS cable, you will be able to operate the play, record, and overdub function on this machine, on this recorder, let's say. Now, does that record into something that you could burn out on, a CD? No, so the cassette player, you would require extra gear to burn out onto a CD, correct? For the Memorex machine, you got a USB or SD card. Still, you would need something to burn that music out onto a CD, right? However, keep in mind, you can record on these. This is an interesting part about it. I mean, once you turn them off, like the Roland AC33 amp, once you turn it off, whatever you recorded in there, okay, is gone. It doesn't stay recorded, because it does not have any real memory, okay, past you using it at that moment. And now, yes, the Boss RC300, you definitely can save your recording into that. Turn it off and come back to it, it'll still be there. It's got 99 places or value of memory. So one value of memory is, say, one full-length song. Same for number 2, number 3, number 4, all the way up to 99. Each one of those values of memory have 3 separate tracks. I can record and play on one track, get that going, go to the next track. That will continue to play as a looper, so let's say as long as I want it to, and play and record on track 2 and then track 3, and then on top of it you can overdub on each and every one of those tracks besides. Now, you still, though, would need something to record into to burn out on a CD. Okay. Now, furthermore, in 2015 of last year, since I have the Tascam DP24, I decided to purchase the Tascam DP03 8-track recorder, which is basically the same as the Tascam DP24, functions pretty much the same. So once you get to know how to use the Tascam DP24, you will know how to use the DP03. And I like this because I had this in, say, in a separate room. I was playing, recording. I didn't have to actually be down here in the studio to do so. And it records onto an SD card. The same thing for the Tascam DP24. It records onto an SD card. Okay, so now, still, every one of these things that you can record on, we still need gear to burn it out on the CD, correct? Turn it into an MP3, let's say. All right, so now that goes to say the obvious. We need our computers already and the ability to turn it into an MP3 and burn it out on a CD. All right, so what else can I say? All right, recapping. Number one, the cassette player and its microphone. Okay, I've heard some great recordings on cassettes because of the persons playing their instruments and singing, and they did a great job. And number two, the Memorex machine. Here we go, guys. Let's bring this on up one more time with the microphone. All right, and I like this because that has a little side carriage there, and we can just put that right on in there. Voila. Okay. So next, the Tascam DP24. The Boss RC 300. By the way, they make the Boss RC 1, the Boss RC 3, the Boss RC 30, and then the Boss RC 300. They also make the 202 and the 505. The 202 and the 505 are tabletops. DJs like to use them, from what I understand. And these, right, are for foot pedals. Okay. Now, also the Tascam DP03. All right, and as I mentioned, the Tascam DP24. Well, guys and gals, I might challenge us to do a recording. Yes, a good quality, rendition of your performance, my performance, on a cassette player, and see how that fares. If you have something of a machine, something like the Memorex that uses strictly an SD card or USB thumb drive, flash drive, then, in other words, it's not a real fancy piece of equipment, but you've upgraded from a cassette player, let's say, or say differed from a cassette player, because let's be fair about it, that's a cassette and this is USB. There is a difference. Okay, not that there's any better or any worse, but they're different. Correct? So I'm thinking about taking this challenge and recording a song and actually attempting to see if I could do it and use all the equipment at the same time, so that me playing the song, I'll only have to do it once, and then all the recording gear picking it up and recording it. So that would be easy enough with the cassette player. I could probably mic up the Memorex. I'm sure I could. So that I could still continue to use my direct input, let's say, in my Boss RC300. Yes, I do a DI, okay? Drill instructor. All right, you do not salute a drill instructor. He's an NCO. Non-commissioned officer, not an officer. You know the difference, right? Salute an officer, not a non-commissioned officer. An NCO, we do not salute. However, drill instructor. Okay, so no, this is direct input. I'm going to already mic up concerning playing the guitar to be able to record into the Memorex machine, as well as miking up to the cassette player side by side, playing that song. At the same time, I am direct input with my guitar into my Boss RC300, recording on it as it plays. Also, while that plays, I'm recording on my Tascam DP24 at the same time. Yes, it's possible to actually record into my DAW at the same time as well. However, the only thing that I will end up bypassing on that is the Tascam DP03, okay, or that I know of, unless somebody got some suggestion. Maybe it's got a splitter or something. You know, take my 1/4-inch cable from my guitar, put it in splitters, you know, split out, go to my Boss and one into my Tascam DP03. Is that possible? You know, I was at Guitar Center the other night, and I asked somebody about that. One of the guys that worked there. And I don't think that we ever came up with the answer, because we were talking about so many different things, trying to come up with some solutions for things. I think that answer actually got overlooked. So my question is, I probably should know this already. I'd like to do my research first, although I want to be humbled to be able to do that. But I like to research and have the answer, so when I do my videos, I can tell you, you know. Okay, so this is one time I must admit, I do not know. Do they make splitters for 1/4-inch cables? And then I could plug it in 2 different places? I would think that they probably do, and I probably should already know the answer to that, especially since I presented that question to that man at Guitar Center, and I, thus, since I've got home, probably meant to look it up online to get the answer and forgot to, because there's quite a bit going on, okay, here and in my life. So anyway, if I can do that, then yes, I can record into this too. While I'm recording to my cassette player, my Memorex machine, my Boss RC300, that does record, my Tascam DP24, and my DAW at the same time, every bit of it, all at the same time, and then including this too, if I can get that splitter, right? Now, will I actually go buy the splitter, make the effort, and go ahead and record it into this too? I don't think that that's really prerequisite to be part of the challenge, simply because the DP03 is a miniature version of the DP24, right? Pretty much the same difference, therefore. And my song, should I even say, new as January, okay? I recorded my guitar into this, and my guitars actually into this. Then I took every recording that I had, including my drum tracks that I recorded into this from my former Casio CTK 720 keyboard that Andres Lopez won, along with the gear giveaway, okay? But I used the drum tracks from that keyboard and recorded into this too. So I recorded every instrument I had into this, that then I took the SD card and transferred the files and then just put them in my DAW. Now, could I have just run it from, you know, like I showed you in one of my last videos here about, all right, so your Tascam, you just hit play, like on your DAW record, and then your DAW is picking up the volume and sound from the Tascam and recording on that track. So did I have to take the SD card out of the DP03, put it in my computer, you know, transfer the files there, and then take and import those files into my DAW that way? Well, I did so simply because I think at that time I wasn't real sure about the recording or the sound coming from the Tascam through my Realtek speakers, okay, in my computer. So I, using that Realtek sound card, so I didn't do it that way, okay. Now I have the Tascam US 4x4 interface that my Tascam DP24 is connected into. That is connected into my computer, so my Tascam US 4x4 interface that how do you say? The preamps, okay, that's the sound card now. So that now, sure, when I hit record on my DAW, it's picking up the sound from the Tascam DP24. It's coming through from the interface. So that's so that's why that I would take the SD card out of the DP03 and pop it in my computer, and then just take and copy the WAV files and then import them into my DAW, is simply because I did not trust the Realtek speaker sound card on the computer to do so, because I did not use an interface at that time. Okay, because if you'll watch my other videos, you'll see that my system, or my process, was not to record into the DAW. My process was to record into the Tascam, either one, and then take the files, put them in the DAW, and mix in the DAW. I did not even have an interface at that time. Okay, and let's see here. Okay, you can see what I'm talking about on one of my videos called my mini home studio. What was that called? My mini home studio evolution, I believe it was. And when a room upstairs I took and converted into my mini studio for the DAW use. So you'll see what I'm talking about more or less in that video. And now I'm using the interface. So what can I say? If I do not get the splitter and I do not record into this as a result, please do not hold it against me. Forgive me. However, I think I should still qualify for the challenge, even though I do not record into this DP03 simultaneously as I'm recording into the cassette player, the mic'd up to the Memorex machine. I'm direct input plugged into from my guitar to the Boss RC300 that's fed out into my Tascam DP24. That's going through to my interface, that's going to my DAW. Okay, so I can record on the cassette player, the Memorex machine, the Boss RC300. Okay, record on that, yes. Record into the Tascam DP24, onto it, and then into my DAW. There's 5 different locations simultaneously. And if I don't get the splitter to also be able to plug into this DP03, once again, remember, this is just a miniature version of the DP24. All right? And if you have any questions about how to use the Tascam DP24, I want to refer you to this. David Wills at ProAudioDVDs.com. The Tascam DP24 DVD tutorial, or anything you need to know about other recording hardware and or software and or mixing and mastering on that software. This guy is the go-to guy. Great credentials. Check him out. David Wills at ProAudioDVDs.com. All right. He is the man. All right. And a world-class, one of the top audio engineers in this world today, and has been for like the past, 3 decades. So check him out. You'll learn how to operate and use your Tascam DP24. That's what I did. Found that DVD online and got it, and learned how to use my Tascam sufficiently enough to record and produce. Okay? So once you learn how to use the Tascam DP24, you'll pretty much know how to use the DP03 also. However, he actually has free short vid tutorials on his YouTube channel concerning both the DP24 and the DP03. check him out. He has those free videos on YouTube as well. And you would be glad you did. Okay. So what can I say? I want to give a in-depth, review, I guess you could say, for each and every one of these. The Boss RC300, a video dedicated just to that. Shouldn't take me too long for that video, from what I know about the Boss RC300, which is enough to record on. Okay, got lots of bells and whistles, man. However, the Boss RC300 is still an somewhat easy enough and simple enough system, can I use those words, to at least do your recording on. It's direct on that, pretty much simple and easy enough to understand on that note. But it's got all sorts of other parameters past that I think just set mostly on default settings, you're going to be fine. But other than that, the details and other stuff, just leave them be. Don't even touch them. You'll be okay. You'll still be able to record and, overdub and whatnot. Okay? You'll be fine. So, nevertheless, it's a simple and easy enough system to use as a beginner, or even somebody that's had it for 3 years like I have and still pretty much still only at the beginner stage of knowing how to use it to record with. And that's pretty much all I really care to be at with this system, because I got so many other things to do concerning the Tascam DP24 and the DAW and the mixing and the mastering. A lot to learn. Okay, like David Willis says at ProAudioDVDs.com, be a lifelong learner. So yes, there's so many things to learn, and I am focusing on what is my priorities, what are my priorities. Okay, so if you really want something to look at and you're really into all the technology and really figuring out how to use gear, the Boss RC300 is for you. If you just want to simply record and have lots of recording space and be able to lay down tracks and overdub and just simply only record, the Boss RC300 is good for you too. Okay, now, what else can I say? Yes, I'll give a review on the Boss RC300. Hey, I'll do a review on the Memorex machine and show you how it's used and done. I'll do a review and show you how the Tascam DP24 is used. And the same thing, another video for the DP03. And then, of course, you know what the hey, just for pure humor and entertainment, the cassette player. Okay? And what else can I tell you? That the DP24 is also pretty much in depth, and I'm pretty much understanding it. But the Boss RC300 by far is, to me, the most in-depth, technical, has a lot of parameters to deal with. But do not let that scare you or discourage you from getting it, because I don't understand all those things. I'll be honest with you. I'm looking at them. There's a lot to go with what is called the system and the memory and all these things. I got this thing instead of being able to record on it immediately, okay? Because the Boss RC300 is, I want you to keep in mind, first and foremost of all, something that you can record on and do loops on and do overdubbing on, and it's as simple as that. All those other technical things beyond that and the in-depth parameters are really pretty much not going to affect you from being able to just simply record, lay down tracks, overdub on, and loop, okay, etc. So, now, what can I tell you? All right, now that is a drum track from the Boss RC300. That's the other thing about it. It has drum tracks in it. Okay, well, this is Top Kid Jimmy. Thank you for tuning in to my channel. And please check out my other videos. And you will be doing me a great favor if you will like and subscribe and share these videos. And I do appreciate it. And thank you so much. And give me your contact information too. And I would be more than glad to go to your channel, check it out, etc., etc. The same for you. Okay? Thank you once again, guys and gals. This is Top Cat Jimmy signing off. God bless him. Hope to see you again soon. Arrivederci.